Okay, today we're talking about observation. At the beginning of the year, we looked at our hands and we tried to draw them. We're going to keep talking about those kind of ideas. The first one, the main one being observation. Observation is super important for a lot of reasons, for a lot of things, not just art. It's really important to artists to be able to observe by looking at something, understanding the parts that it's made out of, and how to turn that into lines and colors and shapes on a page. Observation is also really important in other parts of your life, like if you ever plan on being a scientist or engineer or even an office situation. Observation is a key to any sort of success, really. If you're observant of how things are, things fit together, how people work together, it's important. So, a great way to build that skill is drawing from observation. So, as we were trying to draw our hands at the beginning of the year, the idea was to look carefully and to try and get the parts of what we saw. Here's some fingernails. So, very quick hand drawing here. Today we're not going to be drawing hands. We're actually going to be working on something else. A beginning practice. So, there's my quick hand sketch. I should probably spend more time on it, but I want to show you being able to look, being able to copy, draw. Today, however, we are going to work on something a little more practice related. I'm going to work on copying some symbols. There's a lot of symbols on this page. Some of you might remember this from a previous year, but it's a little different. Now, the idea here is the same as looking at hands and drawing them, except it's a little more basic. It's symbols. So look at the symbol, try to copy it as the best you can in the box below. Like this one right here. Okay, it looks pretty straightforward, but how carefully can you draw a circle? Mine isn't perfectly exact, but you get the idea. I'm looking as best I can and I'm putting it into my own actions on the page here. This guy is very similar, but he's shaded in. Being observant about the qualities of the symbol, shapes, is the same as looking out in the world, is the same as reading carefully in a book, it's the same as paying attention to all the steps in a math problem. Observation. So we're just going through these ones, pretty straightforward. You just look and you draw. As we keep going along, they might get a little more complicated. There might be one, maybe you understand it and you look at it and you say, oh yeah, I know how to draw that. And then when you get it on your paper, you end up drawing it backwards. That's okay. Just try again. Be careful to notice that. If you don't notice you did it backwards, I might mention something to you. But take a look at it. Does it match up perfectly? Does it look the same? Try again. The idea here is careful observation. If you're looking and you're trying, even if you don't get it right, you will be learning. Your hand will be learning the motions, your brain will be learning, your eyes, you will be learning observation here. And it's getting close, and it's getting more and more detailed here. I'm just moving along. I expect you guys to kind of move along row by row because they start out easier and get more difficult. But I'm jumping around to give you an example of different parts of the page. When we get down to this, down here, draw these twice. They're a little more complicated, and they're going to take a little more practice maybe. Maybe the first time you don't quite get it right. Try it again a little slower, a little more carefully to make sure you do it right. Some of these are they might be kind of confusing. And we all have different brains. We all see things a little bit differently. We all interpret things a little bit differently. So one might be really easy for you, and one might be really hard. That same one might be really hard for someone else. That's okay though. because we're all practicing and strengthening our observation. Just like you get better at playing games, you get better at doing sports, practice gets better with drawing more and more. It's kind of like practicing shooting free throws in basketball. You got to practice in order to get better. Just like drawing, you got to practice to get better. And I'll do a few more. And you can see there's all sorts of different things. The goal here, as I said before, is to copy as best to your ability. Because this skill of looking at something and redrawing it is the basis for all sorts of observation. On the back side, there are some more complicated patterns. This is optional. If you're happy doing this side and you don't finish today, that's okay. Don't worry about the back side. If you're cruising along and you're just doing this great, definitely move over to the back side and give these a try. Now you might notice that these kind of look similar, like there's some sort of progression. Each one of these, A, B, C, are up here. Each one is a part of a series, so it's kind of actually a step-by-step on how to make these final patterns here. So you just, same thing, you just get started here. I'm actually going to jump over to this one to demo how they all fit together. So this first step is really this guy over here. It's really A. And I'm looking at A, but it's going to teach me how to do these steps if I do it right. As long as I am carefully observing. And as you can probably tell, I'm doing this kind of quick. And I'm kind of messy about it, and I'm not really doing the best job. I should be more careful. My boxes are a little off. So that, I'm basically copying this. That's step 1, step 2, step 3 of this pattern. But I want you to copy each one in the boxes below. So you're going to end up practicing these first couple steps a couple of times. And then we draw our lines in. And that'll set you up for success on this third one here. If you've practiced these two already, you're going to be a master when it comes to this third one. And I'm going quick because I want to show you guys what it looks like. You might want to go a little slower than I do. There's no speed limit on this. You can take it as easy as you want. And we're starting to get there. All right. Oh, there we go. So you kind of get the idea. Same with this one. This is a 2-part pattern. Here's another 3-part pattern. Here's another 2-part pattern. Down here, if you've done all this, you've done the front side, you're cruising along and you're just having a great time, make up some of your own. Make up in here. You can trade a paper with a friend, or you can just see if you can draw the same thing twice. Sometimes drawing the same character the same way twice is one of the hardest things you can do in cartooning. So draw your own stuff twice, or trade with a friend and challenge them to come up with a design. And that is our goal for today. Observation drawing, copying symbols. Don't forget to put your name on your paper. Put your classroom teacher, not me, your classroom teacher, so we can keep things sorted out and have fun drawing symbols. All right.